Welcome to another video and episode on my Raspberry Pi 1 running Raspberry and Linux and software programmed for this project in Python. In this project I want to use analog sensors which deliver signals to an analog to digital converter, which delivers a signal to the Raspberry Pi. That has to be done in that way because the Raspberry Pi GPIO, general purpose input output, is digital only. So for using an analog signal you have to digitalize it, or digitize, whatever. Now there is a problem because last episodes I ran into a very big problem that different than at start. I get only zeros and just occasionally a nice value. So this fischertechnik LDR, light dependent resistor, or photoresistor, and here is a very small one as well. They are parallel, and I had them in series. I had them whatever with these two buttons right here. The button connected them to earth, to ground, mass, whatever you want to call it, and then it worked because it has to be connected before it works. It has to be connected to both power and ground, and then you get a value, or you are supposed to get a value. Last time I redid the schedule, the schematics, the circuit, and moved these buttons to this location, and I realized after last time that this may not be visible as it could be, so I tried to do it in Scilab. However, although this represents the circuit as good as it gets, not as good as it gets, because this represents an ordinary battery, which it is not. This represents 100 kilo ohm resistor, which it is. These represent the button. Yeah, it's just press to make contact. But this, where to connect it? It's a manual button. Doesn't have a signal. So, not really representative. This and this one, they are supposed to be the light dependent resistors. But problem, in Scilab I cannot find a light dependent resistor symbol, because it is slightly different than normal resistor. It's not even a variable resistor, because that symbol is different as well. What is correct is that it is all connected to ground, although this line is not correct. It has to be put there because of this side being ground, but this is not ground, it's just power. So away goes this one, and I made another one. So I went into gEDA, and more particularly gchem, or whatever you pronounce it. And And this is GPL EDA, Electronic Development Application. And this represents it a lot better. So, what is the difference? Well, in this program that I use not as often because I don't actively develop electronic boards for which this is actually intended, but it does have one advantage. I can draw schematics the way they are using the components that are really there. The only thing is I can't simulate in here, and that is what is needed. Well, I don't really need to simulate, I just need to show what is really going on. So this is the voltage, this is the source, then 100 kilo ohms resistor, then a line 2, and this is real, a 2-pole manually operated switch, just like this one, then a line 2, and this is correct, a photo resistor or light dependent resistor, this one as well. And as you can see, one is normal, one is fischertechnik one. Well, it's normal as well, but it is incorporated into fischertechnik housing, etc. And then a line to ground. Now, and it is not entirely accurate, because if I go to the camera view, if you look very closely, there's a line here, a blue line. This line is a wire, jump wire, that connects this LDR to the ADC, to the converter. And I haven't drawn that line. I can, and in that case it would be from here to the ADC. Let me see if I can actually do that. Do I have an ADC here? I can simulate through SPICE, of course. I forgot that. But do I have an analog to digital converter? I honestly can't tell because I didn't look for it. It will be there, but anyway, that's not important right now. This is the basic schematics, and these are both connected to their respective entrance of the converter. That said, what is the problem? Well, I have here the probes connected. I have the program set to run. So let's see if there's any thing going on. Look here, look here. LDR. That's very good. Which LDR is it? I want to know. And this is LDR. I want to know which one it is. LDR channel 1. And which one is LDR channel 1 anyway? Is this one. And so this is actually the little one. It is the little one. And the second one is doing the thing. With that, is an indication that it does work. One time. 255. Let's try again. Now it's 0. And if you watched last episode, you will have noticed that I did exactly the same last time with very occasionally a value, so it does work. But how does it now not work? Really good question. So far not really lucky on getting some data, and this is a problem in itself, because if I go to menu it says SPI, well that's correct, and then there is a clock, channel 1, data, master output, slave input, or in this case master input, slave output, and select, slave select, device select, and that is high. It is 1. So I suspect I am looking at this one, although that is something I still wonder which one is device 1. How do I decide that? Because if I look at this converter, there are 8 pins, and you have channel 0 and device 0 and 1. Now which one is 1? And looking at the NTC, that is still here, negative temperature coefficient, so it is a roughly said thermometer. It is connected to 1, and that did work. Now the others are reserves, so a reserve should be able to be addressed. So why isn't it? Why is it giving a problem? Last time already noticed that putting here a 1 instead of a 0 ends in an error. Putting a 2, well, that also doesn't go well. So let me just check that once again. There you go. No such file or directory. Well, anyway, that is not going to work. Question: why? Does it have to do with all this? I don't know, but let's just save this again and go again. And here, nothing to be seen. I want a nicer line, so I'm going to change. The timing, and you can see how, right here how the timing is being changed. Now we're on half a second. That's way too much. And certainly because on advice I changed the maximum speed to 11 megahertz, 11.35 megahertz. Now if I convert that, I am into microseconds. So I'm I'm going to change way back to microseconds. On the other hand, it's not much use because I still get zeros. But let's just see whatever happens. And let me put oh, that's right, by the way, if I press the button, because the buttons are there for a reason. And I'm pressing the right side button for this little LDR. So the 255 that I got earlier, was that a coincidence? Might just well be. And if I return everything into the old situation, what will happen then? That means that I will have to disconnect everything. Although that isn't strictly necessary, because I have here the connection to ground. And if I remove this button, I can put this one again somewhere here and it will be connected. But right now, if I just run it and press either button, I should get a value anyway. Anyway, let's go back to basics. Because this way, this leads to nothing, I think. Alright, so now I have removed this button, rewired this NTC, now this LDR straight to this regular resistor, so it is now completely wired, no need for a button. What does it do? Not a thing. It doesn't do a thing. So what I do now is one is still done via the NTC, and can I change that? Yes, of course I can change that. So I am first of all going to uncomment, and NTC is still defined here, no problem. Channel 1, which is supposed to be. Do I have any result from this? This says absolutely 0. And this says absolutely nothing. Zeros all around. And I don't even get a pulse modulation here. Now I do. Here, that is, not this one. So that works. but that's all there is. So right now I'm seriously doubting if my ADC is working anyway, and I do not have a spare, so that is a big problem. What else can I do? I can replace this one for now for this one. So if this one doesn't work, the NTC, now this one could work in theory, of course, and I have to press the button. So I have LDR 1 and 2, and LDR 2 is the same as LDR 1 now in output, or should be anyway. Do I get a value? Pressing the button. Nope, not getting anything. Is my code alright? Well, here, no, the code is not alright, because channel 2, let me say channel 1. Because I need to feed it the correct information, channel 1. So now it is exactly the same. Try again. Does it work? If so, how? Hard to believe that at start it worked so well. So what has happened? Alright, back to the very basics. I'm going to remove the whole circuit and choose just one and see whatever happens. Right, so now I have changed the whole thing, and to show what has changed, this one's gone, this one's gone. So now this is the situation. No, this one's gone as well. All I have is actually this. Light dependent resistor, power, and of course connected to the ADC. So that's the new situation, which is the situation I started with in the first place. No buttons, no second LDR. So let's see whatever happens. And it just occurred to me that it may be the LDR that is broken, and then I get nothing. I hope that is not the case, so I can, and two components broken at the same time is very unlikely, but let's see how this ends up. This ends up with absolutely nothing. So I am going to redo. This one is going here, so I have place for this one, and then I will put them factually in series. No, parallel actually. Parallel. So this one has to go here now. And yes. So now it's connected to MOS through this wire, and it is connected here. Yes. If either of them works, this should show it. So NTC is active, LDR2 is active, but on the same channel as LDR1. Let's see. And it still doesn't do anything. Very last resort is just releasing the power and putting it in again. Did it show something? No, really? Right, so right now I am kind of out of options. I want to see if I have a way to actually test that the ADC is working at all. But how to do that? That's a very good question. I've changed the circuit now a couple of times and it's going nowhere. Yep, testing the ADC, but how? And then it actually happened again. Measuring circuit with an analog multimeter, and it resets. Something that hasn't happened for quite a while, but here it is again. So here we go. Yep. Typos are not accepted. And then you get something like this. And this is also how I set up every preparation. But the terminal is like here, and writer programming is like here. So warning again, don't measure at the actual which is, by the way, very strange. It's very strange that it resets when I measure at, for example, the ADC directly. I don't get it. But will it change anything, by the way? Good question. and I didn't find anything valid or easily doable on testing the LDR or the ADC for that matter. But I will try to do that next time. So for now, end of many attempts. So what did I do? Draw a schematic to show you how everything was at the beginning of this episode. Then testing the circuit, what is right, what is wrong, getting only one value and now doubting that that value is real, and nothing yet out of here, not for a long time. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video and haven't subscribed yet, please do so. If you subscribe and give thumbs up, like the video, follow me on Twitter and retweet and like on Instagram, follow me and like. Please donate to keep videos coming your way. For more information, please see my website with lots of other videos and pictures. And this is obviously going to be continued one way or another. Bye bye.